Hi, it's Priscilla here. It's a beautiful, sunny, awesome day in Florida, and I decided well, hey, why not? I'm gonna make a peach pie today. So I am staying with a friend here in North Miami, and he doesn't necessarily have proper tools for pie baking or baking in general. And so I figured I'm gonna make this work and make do with what I've got and get real creative here. So I decided to shoot a fun little video of making peach pie. Even if you do not have proper tools or ingredients, even if you don't know what the hell you're doing, I decided that when I make this pie today, it was going to be vegan, gluten-free, and refined sugar-free. So I replaced a lot of things, and it comes out pretty wonky, it comes out pretty funky, but it's all good in the hood. I just want to share with you guys that even a pro baker could totally, oh, these leaves are, hi leaves, could totally F up a beautiful, what normally looks like a beautiful pie. And who cares what it looks like? If it's for you and your buddies and your family and whatever, so what? Delish. Attack of the leaves. But yeah, it's gonna be delicious. I'm also gonna show you, of course, the end product. And even if it looks like a mess on the plate, yo, as long as you got yourself a sweet, delicious treat, try something new today. Experiment in the kitchen. A lot of people say baking is a science, and maybe it is, but you really don't need to be a scientist to throw down. So check out this fun video where I totally screw up a pie, but still make delicious treat. Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and following along on my adventures. So let's begin with a beautiful stainless steel clean bowl. Of course, you can use glass, porcelain, whatever you have is cool. But there's going to be magic happening in this bowl. All right, cool. So let's see. We're going to start with the gluten-free all-purpose flour from Trader Joe's. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 cup of flour, perfect measurements here. Yeah, let's pat it down. Yeah, sure, that's about right. Sweet. Next comes the almond flour. Almond flour, it is superfine blanched. There's some that have skin on it. That's totally cool too. This is just what they had in the store. Another perfect measurement. And that was 1 cup. And now I'm just going to add another ½ cup of the gluten-free flour. So in total it was 2.5 cups of flour. Awesome. And that's all of the flour together. I like to get in there and get dirty, so I'm going to use my hands to kind of move the flour around and get it together. Look at that, it's beautiful. You can use a whisk to do that, or a fork. I just like to get my hands dirty. Of course, they were clean before. Ooh, look at this. I decided I'm going to throw in a tablespoon of fresh thyme. This stuff is delicious. I absolutely love pairing fresh herbs with fruit. Alright, check this out. Thyme 101. I'm going to show you how to get these little babies off the stem the easiest, best, most efficient way. So the leaves are all kind of pointing upwards the way I'm holding it, and then I just go whoop downwards. I pull down gently and the leaves come off easily. The top of the stem is usually pretty soft, so when you try to tug at it, the stem just kind of comes off, and that's totally fine. If it comes off, that means it is tender and it's okay to eat. So then I just chop everything up, chop, 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 and then I add this nice tablespoon of fresh thyme in there. You can also go ahead and do rosemary or fresh lavender, or you can chop up some sage, whatever your little heart desires. So here we have some plant butter, country crock. Beautiful. This one is creamy and delicious. They have this in either avocado base, or they have it as an almond oil base or olive oil base. I'm not sure which one this is, but I've tried all of them and they're all delicious and great. The thing about vegan butters is it gets pretty soft pretty quickly, and so you really got to work fast. It starts to kind of melt and get mushy, and what you want to do is cut it into cubes, like little squares, like this little guy here, as best you can. And then drop it in. Whoop, whoop. Cool. Then I'm chopping some more butter back there. If you're using regular butter, it's a lot easier to handle. This was really giving me a hard time, so I'm just gonna cut the little cubes in my hand. Look at that. Just making it happen, making it work. Ooh, pile of cubes. And that's gonna go into the flour as well. Also, this butter is salted. I don't really know if I've seen unsalted butter for vegans, so I don't add any salt to this recipe. This is agave. The recipe was asking for some sugar, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna squeeze a little agave in there, and that'll be just fine. I usually like to use a bowl scraper to do this part of the mixing, but we don't have one on hand today, so good old classic fork is gonna have to work out for this part of the mixing. Making the dough, making the dough, making the dough, tossing the dough around, tossing. Oh, all right, now it's starting to get a little sticky. I'm starting to feel it out with my hands. Usually pie dough gets some water, like ice cold water, added to the recipe, but this one's actually feeling pretty soft and sticky, and I might actually need to add more flour. I'm just gonna keep feeling it out, moving it around with my hands. Once again, this would be so much easier with a plastic bowl scraper. Now I'm checking to see the consistency of it, and it looks like I can form a shape. And so it's pretty much ready to go. Look at that thing. I'm gonna throw this in the fridge, and it's gonna chill it some more. We really want it to be as chilled as possible so that we can handle it. While you wait for it to chill 20 minutes or so, you make yourself a nice fresh cup of French pressed coffee and use your favorite mug. This one says that it's official, I am awesome. And I pour myself some coffee and enjoy it. And then I go ahead and get ready for the dough rolling. I'm going to use my gluten-free flour, keep it handy, and cover the bench, aka countertop, as much as I can with the flour. I want to be really generous with flour when I do this gluten-free recipe because it usually is harder to handle, gets sticky, and becomes easily messy. But here I'm trying to really get it into a nice ball shape, gently knead it. Once again, I don't really want to mess around with it too much with my hands. Oh, I began to use this, or I decided to use this wine bottle. It's an empty wine bottle as my rolling pin. Once again, we do not have a rolling pin in this kitchen. So yeah, I'm gonna cover it with some flour so it doesn't stick and start to gently press onto the dough ball. I really want to try to keep this dough as round as possible as I go around. I really want to make sure the edges stay circular and round. Sometimes the edges start to crack, but you just get on in there with your fingers and make it back into a round shape. Feel free to use as much flour as you need. It gets pretty sticky, like I said, so get in there. Okay, so pro tip, one thing I like to do is I talk to my dough ball. I let it know who's boss. I let it know, like, hey, this is what's gonna happen now, and this is what you're gonna do for me. That way I feel like I'm in control and I've got it going on, but I also like to pay attention to my dough and see like what it needs, because the dough is also going to let you know what it needs. Like right here, it was really sticky and I don't have a bench scraper, so I ended up using a knife to scrape it kind of like help it move around the counter, because that is key. Key is to move your dough ball, or your round circle at this point, around and around, just to make sure it doesn't stick in one place, and to make sure you are evenly rolling it. Now, talking to the dough ball doesn't always work. It looked like it was working for me, but woo, check that out. I'm over here trying to fold it into quarters so that then I can put it on the baking pan. But yeah, it looks like it's breaking into 1,000,000 pieces. So I'm going to use this skillet. We do not have a pie pan in this household as well. So all-clad skillet. I looked it up. I can put it in the oven. It's great. I'm going to transfer the dough. Yep, looks like it broke into 1,000,000 pieces. That's cool. All good in the hood. I'm going to go ahead and work with it. It's like putting a puzzle together. Now I got all these little scrap pieces, and I'm just kind of pressing them together, see where the pieces fit, and making it work. So sometimes a project doesn't always look like what you had anticipated, but that's cool. I'm like never really attached to, the end product, like what it should be looking like. I just go with the flow, have fun with it, feel it out, and if this is what it wants to do, then cool, I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be. Last few pieces onto the shell. Now I play around with the other half of the dough. I knead it a little bit, kind of set it to the side and let it hang out. Now it's time to play with some peaches. These are frozen peaches. This is coconut sugar, organic palm sugar. And I'm using this sugar in place of white and brown sugar. It has a lot of flavor. It's awesome. I'm throwing some cinnamon in there. It didn't really call for it in the recipe, but that's cool. I like it. Then I'll add a little bit more thyme, maybe like a couple of sprigs. At this point, I'm gonna get in there and mix it up. Once again, you can use a spatula or something else, but I like to get my hands filled with food and dip them in and feel it out. These are frozen, so they're kind of sticking, and I'm just pulling them apart as I go because I really want to coat each peach slice with all this flavor. Yum. Then I decided, oh heck, I have this knob of fresh ginger, why not grate some in there? Maybe like a little bit of a ginger spice with the cinnamon. Then I also added some lemon juice, which was not in the recipe, but why not? And now I'm putting some cornstarch, which is in the recipe. This is gonna help create that delicious, sweet, like thick gravy that happens inside of a pie. So mix, 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 toss, toss, toss. Getting my hands in there. Once that's done, I bring my shell out and I fill it with the peach pie filling. I just get them in there from the bowl, try to spread the sugar evenly, and then I just kind of organize them and get them all cozy, make sure they all fit comfortably, no gaps. Next step is to move on to the second piece of dough. This is supposed to be the top. Now I'm looking at this dough like, I don't know if this is gonna work out. First of all, it looks pretty small. The pan that I'm using is 10 inches. The recipe was talking about how this dough is supposed to be for, I believe, an 8-inch pie. So it might fall short. But who cares? I'm going to make it work. Pressing on the dough, press, 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 and rolling it some more. Once again, trying to keep that round shape. Move it around the counter. Work it, use your knife, scrape it, move it. Ooh, you like that trick? Yeah, you can use a knife to help move it too. Roll, 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 roll. Oh my god, a big crack. I can't help it at this point. Let me just move it to the side and try to get it on top of this. It's probably gonna break just like the other one. Let's see that ripped in half, and whoop. Yep, hot mess once again. Let's see how this turns out. Okay, not looking as bad, but yep, okay. Same story. We've got 1 million pieces coming right up. Time to play puzzle again, this time on top. The landscape on top is not as easy. You've got all these pieces of peach poking through and just being all crazy underneath there. But just get on in and play around with the dough. Squeeze the pieces in between the pieces, you know. It's pretty simple. And then just give it some love. Give it some cozy, cozy love. Pray to the pastry gods, and it will be the most perfect pie. It's all in the intention, baby. Look at that bad boy. So yeah, this is what the bottle looks like after using it as a rolling pin. And voila, there you go. I smacked some thick canned coconut milk on top, only the thick part, and then I put some more brown sugar on top because I wanted to have a nice brown crispy crust. Hooray, there it is, nice brown crispy crust. This bad boy was in the oven for about an hour, and look at it, it has a nice rustic feel. It's gorgeous. I put some fresh thyme on top after it finished baking. It's gonna be delicious. And here is the slice of pie I'm about to enjoy. It actually held up pretty well. The flavor is awesome. The thyme just breaks up the sweetness, super flavorful, and it's not too sweet. Nice and crispy and buttery. So what'd you think? Was it pretty ugly? Was it cute? Maybe it was rustic. I love when people say I made something rustic. Oh, I have a rustic peach pie for you, baby. So let me know your experience. Have you made some pies? Have you tried to take recipes and replace things and just wing it? How did that come out? Let's share. Let's see what we're all up to. Let's try something new today in the kitchen. And also, if you have any ideas on like the next kind of pie or dessert you would like for me to screw up, just comment below and let me know. I'd love to hear what y'all got to say. Love you all, love you, boo, and I will catch ya on the next one.